everybody, my name is Mars, you can call me MG if you would like, and today I have for you my TBR for Laudna-thon. If you don't know what Laudna-thon is, it is a readathon that I am hosting during the month of October. I will leave the announcement video in the description for you to check out. This is the third round of Vox Machina-thon, which celebrates the releases of the different novels set in the Critical Role world. So we have What Doesn't Break by Cassandra Caw coming out in October, and I'm so excited. So I guess that is officially the first book on my TBR for this event because it's the group book, it's the reason why I'm hosting this event at all, so obviously I'm gonna be reading it, but I have 3 other books to talk to you about, and let's just get into that. Okay, so technically I have 4 books to talk to you about, but only 3 of them are going onto the TBR because the first one that we're going to talk about is a decision that has been made, not by me, but by my pets. So doubling up, tripling up, all of that is allowed for this readathon, and I have doubled up on Shadow Sorcerer, which is a book with black and white on the cover, and Hound of Ill Omen, which is a pet pick. So I gave my cats 2 options of what book to read, well, what book for me to read, and they both have black and white covers. The first option is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This is a reread, so is the other book, but I think I've read this one a little bit more recently, but neither of them I've read like within the past 4 to 5 years, I'd say. But this is a short little horror story, and it made me cry the last time I read it, so it'll probably make me cry again because I am a little baby and cry a lot, no matter what emotion books and stuff make me feel. So this is the first option, and then the other option is In the Absence of the Sun by Emily Curtis. This is a poetry collection that I've had since college, and I remember liking it, but like I said, it's been a long while since I've read it. So these are the 2 books that I let my cats choose between, and what I did is have 2 pieces of paper. Technically they're 2 pieces of receipt because that's the only spare paper I could find, and I wrote the names of the books on them, and I will show you the footage here of my cats deciding which one I'm gonna pick. So, as you saw, Gremlin was uninterested, but then Chloe came in and started sniffing, and she actually tried to pick up the paper and run with it, because that's something that she loves to do, is steal things and run. So I had to grab it away from her quick, but this is the paper that she chose, and we're gonna open it up together and see what it is. I don't know if you can see that, especially because it's gonna be backwards because I film on my phone, but that is A Monster Calls. So this will be going on the TBR, and I'm very excited. I would have been happy with either book winning, honestly, that's why I put them on the options list, but this is the one that I officially will be reading for Laudna-thon. The next book I'm going to be talking about is one that I was actually going to be reading as an ebook because I have access to it as an ebook, but then I found it in a free little library literally yesterday at the time of filming this. At the time of this video going up, it'll be about a week prior, but it was so funny. I didn't even mean to go to a free little library. Little free library. I always do that. I always get it backwards. Little free library, but I had a raging migraine and no pain meds, so I was going to Rite Aid, and I passed one on the way to Rite Aid, so I'm like, I might as well stop and look, and it was insane, my reaction to finding this, because I'm like, oh my god, I'm literally reading this next month anyway, I have to grab it. And I also grabbed 3 other books, but that is besides the point. But this covers the prompt for Imogen, which is a sapphic book, and for Vexalia, which is a book that reminds you of another book in some aspect, and I will talk about the book that it reminds me of, because it's actually a couple. But the one that I will be reading for this event is Sweet and Bitter Magic by Adrienne Tooley. It'll be my first book by this author that I'm reading, but I do follow her on Instagram. I really enjoy her content and stuff, and so I'm very excited. It's a beautiful cover. I like this art style. I don't like real people on covers, and I don't like the cartoony Canva type people on covers. I prefer the cartoony people over real people, but not by a lot. I just detest real people on covers, honestly, unless it's like very artistically done. That's besides the point. I think this one's beautiful. I love the way these girls are drawn, but yeah, I found this in a free little library yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, I'm grabbing it. It does have like tooth marks, so someone's cat or dog must have gotten to this, or child, maybe? No, these are not human bite marks, these are definitely like puncture marks, probably from a cat, judging by the distance and the amount of punctures, but that's fine. I understand that books get damaged, but this I have put in the Vexalia prompt because of the title. So, Sweet and Bitter Magic has this cadence to it that reminds me of a lot of books nowadays. Specifically, I want to shout out A Dark and Secret Magic, which is by Wallace Kinney, my dear friend, whom I love, and I'm so excited for her debut novel coming out. It actually releases the same day as What Doesn't Break, which is October 8th, so if you like Hallmark movie vibes, but in an autumnal setting with like witches and magic, you're gonna want to read A Dark and Secret Magic. But you can see it has like the same cadence, it ends with the word magic. There's also books like A Darker Shade of Magic that has that same rhythm to it. I feel like a lot of books have that nowadays. So this title definitely reminds me of other books and therefore fits the prompt. So this is the second book going on the TBR, or I guess third. And finally, we have one more book that fits the last three prompts. So the prompts are Undead Warlock, which is a book that features undead creatures. This has ghosts and maybe other undead creatures in it. I don't exactly remember, but I know that at least ghosts are in there. The Sun Tree, which is a book that ends on a cliffhanger or follows up on a book that ends on a cliffhanger, and once you see the author, you'll know, like, yep, there are cliffhangers because this author is known for them. And the last prompt is Delilah Briarwood, which is a Mars pick, and this fits the prompt of one of my favorite authors because I gave a whole list of things that you could choose for the Mars pick prompt. Check out the Vox Machina-thon Instagram account for the post where I show all of the different options you can read because there are so many to choose from. I wanted to make sure people had a variety of options, but one of the options I gave is to read a book by one of my three favorite authors, and this is by one of my three favorite authors. And to keep you in suspense no longer, I'll just show you the book. It is The Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan. I can't wait. I've been rereading the Percy Jackson and Heroes of Olympus series to catch myself back up in order to read the newest Percy books, and I'm up to Mark of Athena. This cover is so good. I love like the owl in the background. It's amazing. If you didn't know, I love owls. Athena is my favorite Greek goddess, and while I'm not happy about what Rick does to her in this book, especially because it's kind of historically inaccurate, spoiler alert, I am going to complain about it a little bit, but I'll probably complain about it again in my vlog for Laudna-thon. Anyway, spoiler alert, skip ahead if you don't want to know, but in this book, the Greek and Roman gods are like combined into one and they kind of fight against these different aspects of each other. So when they're near people who follow the Greek version, they tend to be Greek. When they're near people who follow the Roman version, they tend to be Roman. But right now there's this big conflict going on, so the gods are kind of torn between these two aspects and it messes with them. And Rick has made the decision to say that ancient Rome doesn't really respect Minerva, who is the Roman aspect of Athena, and they like demote her to the goddess of arts and crafts. But like that's not true at all. Ancient Rome respected Minerva insanely. Like she's one of the Capitoline trio, one of the most important deities along with Juno and Jupiter. And like Rick just completely got that wrong, and it really grinds my gears, but we're gonna put that aside and pretend I don't know that information to get back into this book. So, spoilers are done. Welcome back, people who skipped ahead. But yes, I will be reading this book, and I'm very excited. She's very thick, and I don't know, I think it's the one after this, where the dedication mentions cliffhangers. Yeah, this one just says, to Spee, strays and wanderers are often sent by the gods. I think the next book, or the last book in the series, one of those two, in the dedication, he literally says, sorry for the cliffhanger, not, because he just is really good at giving big cliffhangers. So, this is the last book that I will be adding to my Laudna-thon TBR, and I cannot wait to read it. So here we have 3 of the 4 books that I will be reading. We have Monster Calls for the Shadow Sorcerer and Hound of Ill Omen prompts. We have Sweet and Bitter Magic for Vexalia and Imogen, and then we have The Mark of Athena for Undead Warlock, The Sun Tree, and Delilah Briarwood prompts. And then, of course, I will be reading What Doesn't Break. Very excited for that. That will be the 4th book. Just imagine it's on top of this pile. I will be getting it physically because it's gonna look so nice on the shelf next to my other 2 Critical Role books. But that is it. I will be vlogging this. There are not just these 4 books to be read, but also several activity prompts that I'm very excited to get to. This is starting to hurt my wrist, so I'm going to put it down, which is fine because we now reached the end of the video. If you've enjoyed it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that we'll see you guys next time. Bye!